It's marathon time. Marathon time. Yes. How are you, Gems, doing? I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching live, hey, what's going on? I hope you guys are doing great. And if you are live, leave me a comment because we're going to be here for a little minute. Um, I plan on making this live 3 hours. That's the plan, and we shall see how it goes. Sometimes there's plans that is different from ours. Our plans are not always God's, or our plans are just that, but we really don't know how things will go. So we're just going to see how it goes. And I wanted to tap in and say hi to everybody. And I hope you guys are doing great on this Wednesday. I really don't have a topic today. We're just going to play it by ear and see how it goes. I'm going to look on on my other device to see if I'm actually live, because I don't even know that I am live. But I wanted to do this marathon because we got a lot of things that we're going to talk about today. I do want to say, in continuation from yesterday, whew, you got to take a deep breath with that. So, yesterday was a tough day. It was a tough Tuesday, or whatever it is that I called it. And we were talking about mental health and how we're coping in life, and et cetera, and things like that. And that sometimes we're not doing okay. And yesterday, I'm woman enough, I'm honest enough and transparent enough to say I was not doing okay yesterday. Today, the relief, I feel a little more relief, a little more ease. I'm feeling a little better emotionally and mentally, but it's still some, what is it, residuals of everything that's happening and has happened in my life, and feeling overwhelmed and really stressed out. So there's that. And I wanted to say to everybody that your mental health matters. You can't let other people get you down with their negativity and their demands and all of that stuff. Don't let other people break you down. Don't let other people um, get you upset. Hi, Kawai. Kawai, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. We honestly can't let other people get to us. Hi, Miss Betty. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. We honestly can't let other people get to us and bring us down. And I think I'm going to talk about that, to not let the system, not let this world, not let other people, not let our friends get us down. And like I said, not all people are good people. Hi, you videos. How are you? We can't let other people get us down. You can't let other people affect you and make you feel so saddened, so hurt, so broken. And, it's really an easy thing to happen if you don't have your mind together. Because you do. You have to have your mind together. Where am I from? I am in Florida, if that's what you mean. You got to have your mind together. You got to have your mind together, and you got to get your mind right. You can't let other people break you down and mess up your mental health and get you aside from your focus and your purpose in this life, because it happened to me, and I'm sure that it's happening to a lot of people. Our mental health can be affected by your friends. Um, Thank you so much. You are you vids. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So is something that I had to learn me, and I don't know who's still in the process of learning themselves and what they want and things like that. But even though I have known what I wanted in life, but it's a different thing to make application to actually be that, to let yourself be happy. And yeah, make application of what you want, not just talking about what you want, but also giving yourself that permission to be who you deserve to be. And I think that that's a whole different thing. Zaki, okay, hi Zaki. So you got to give yourself the permission to be who you want to be. And from time to time, I'm probably going to be turning off my camera. You know how it is. Your family makes noise or they bust in the room. So you may see my camera go off from time to time. Hi, Karina. So I wanted to say that to make sure that you guys are focusing on yourself and taking care of yourself. I found this calendar. I've had it for the beginning of the year. It's a calendar with puppies on it. And I think I'm going to utilize it now, even though we are in almost about to be in August and I have not taken advantage of this calendar, but I'm going to use this calendar. This is the one for August. It has what kind of dog is this? I know what it is, but I can't think of it right now. What kind of dog is this, guys? I know what it is, but I can't think of it. So I'm going to start utilizing um, my calendar and start writing down some positive affirmations on my calendar every day so I can think of a positive thought of the day. Um, well, the only way that you can get subscribers is you got to upload content and uh, um, yeah, that's the only way, in my opinion, is to upload content and to um, go live. And yeah, that's my opinion. How you get more and more subscribers is you have to go live, and the people will come to your videos. That's my opinion on how you get people to come to your stuff. So I hope that helps. So let's oh yeah, a pug. Thank you. Thank you so much. A pug. Yeah. So I'm gonna start utilizing some of my resources that I have. I got this calendar. I got it from the dollar store at the beginning of the year. It's puppies every month, and it's a shame that I have let over 6 months go by and I have not even. I just opened this calendar. That was the January one. This one is the February one, which I thought was so cute. The February one. This is the reason why I bought it. And I didn't even open this calendar. It's shameful, but it's true. Yeah, I like this calendar a lot. It's a shame I didn't use it. I know this one is a Jack Russell. And this one, I believe this is a Rottweiler. A Rottweiler. And this one was last month. I don't know what's the name of this type of dog, but I was showing these things in this calendar to my get myself together. I'm going to start writing down a positive affirmation every day on my calendar to keep myself encouraged. So It's just one of those simple things that I'm working on to keep my mental health checked and to take care of me. Let's see. So that's what I'm going to do. Uh, I'll sub. Thank you. I try to be positive. I really do. So, yeah, no problem. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm working on trying my best to be positive and to work on myself. And I think in this life, all you can do is do your best. I know that sometimes we don't want to be positive. I know I don't. I'm being honest with you guys. Sometimes I want to be upset. I want to be angry. Well, not really that I want to be, but sometimes we just are because of our situation in our life. Everybody goes through something, and sometimes I've just been mad at the world, mad at my situation, and everybody is entitled to feel that way. And that's how I felt yesterday. So I'm thankful for another day and getting the opportunity to be able to get a good night's sleep, reset my mind, spend time with good friends, and today is a little bit better. So, to anybody who also suffers from, just going through things in their life and people not being supportive and understanding and compassionate, if you missed yesterday's live, you should check it out because I felt like that was a really good live stream and topic. But anyhow, today it's Wednesday. What are we going to say today is every day I like to make up a thought about the day. I think yesterday I said tough Tuesdays and something. I don't want to say like wonderful Wednesday because that's what a lot of people say. People always say wonderful Wednesday or some or wacky Wednesday. I think I want to call this willing Wednesday. Um, I think that's a we could do a lot about saying that we're willing. And I want to first start off this first conversation of this marathon is what are you willing to do for yourself? Um, Thinking about life in those terms, what are you willing to do for yourself? And for me, I think it really depends on where you are in your life. When I was a little younger, I was willing to do anything to make other people happy. I was willing to sacrifice my peace of mind, my mental health, my money, what other people thought about me. But the more that you learn yourself and you mature, I have learned that I can only be myself. And you definitely shouldn't compromise your values and, what you personally want out of life to make other people happy. And I did that for a long time. I'm not going to even lie to y'all because I feel like I would be struck by lightning if I talk about, I've always been positive. I've always been happy. And a lot of people on social media, they come on here lying about, oh yeah, I've always been this way. I haven't. I grew up being a very angry person and being very unhappy. And it's taken me a really long time for me to unlearn those thoughts and behaviors and ideas and other people's projections on my life, and not letting other people compromise me. And that's an easy thing to do. It's easy to let other people get to you. It's easy to let people get on your nerves so much that you don't even have your own purpose in life. And that was me for a really long time. My purpose only was inside of what the people who accepted me and the people who, I knew. I really didn't understand that you have to have your own mindset. You got to have your own relationship with yourself. And yeah, I'm going to start with, talking about that. You have to have your own relationship with yourself. You can't let other people define what you think about yourself. I missed a lot of comments. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't even see that. When is my birthday? My birthday is January 29th. Awesome. No, you don't talk too much. Hi, Snaky. How are you doing? Yes, it was nice to meet you. Thanks so much for coming through. Hi, Pete. How are you? So, I hope you guys are doing okay. What is the weather? What's the time? What are you guys up to today? Because we're going to be here for a little bit. Yes. Sending everybody some positive vibes today. Because don't we all need it? We all need positivity in our life. I know I do. I have to work very hard to keep my vibes positive. Yeah. It's a thing in your life. You have to think about how you want to show up. Hi, Edward. How are you doing? Good morning to you. Welcome to the marathon. If you guys haven't already, please hit the like. Hit the like. Pete says, I'm good, sis. Glad to be here. Well, thank you. I really and truly appreciate everybody who is coming through and supporting this marathon, this stream. 17. Okay. Okay. So it's really today we're talking about some different things. We're going to go into a few different topics, but I did want to talk about what are you willing to do? It's Willing Wednesday, and one of the things that I want to talk about is some of the things that I'm willing to do. Edward says 85 in the feel like 92. I honestly have not been outside yet today, so I don't know. Um, let's go outside for a little bit. Hold on. Let me turn my camera off for a little bit, and then we'll see how outside is looking. Hold on, guys. I'm still here. Let's take a walk outside. See what the weather is, if the weather is weathering. If it's humid, I can already feel the humidity. Wow. Oh, it's actually not too bad today. Let me turn my camera on. I don't know how to turn my camera around. How do I turn a camera around? I don't know. Camera. I don't know. I don't know how to turn it around, guys. Nope. Hey, Realist. How are you doing? I don't know how to turn the camera around. Oh, yeah, back camera. Oh, I'm learning, guys. So this is what it's looking like outside today. It's sunny, blue skies, but it's definitely, I can feel the humidity. I really can feel the humidity. I'm going to go in the backyard and show you guys that I got something you guys to see. I don't know. Oh yeah, here it is. Got a little palm, a little mini palm. Eventually, I think this is going to grow really big. I have to uproot it and move it later. You guys know I'm obsessed with palm trees. So that is that. I'm going to go inside because it's too hot. It is literally too hot. I'm probably later going to tackle cutting some of my tree. It's grown so big. You guys see how big this golden shower tree is? It's too big. So going back inside. It's too hot, guys. It's too hot and it's too humid. Yes, inside with the air conditioning. That's what I need in my life. And inside with the air conditioning. So to answer your question, Edward, it is super hot. It's super humid. Hey, LaGreca, how are you doing? Let me turn my camera on. I put on front camera. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Ooh, it was too hot out there. What are you guys doing on this, what you call it, Wednesday? You guys off to work or what? What y'all doing? You guys chilling? You guys off today? Doing something fun for the summer? Let me know. Today we're just doing a pretty chill live stream, hanging out. Hey, Metro, how are you doing? And hey, look, Gregoria. Memphis, hi. Yeah, what are you guys doing? Do you guys eat breakfast already? Are you guys breakfast people or no? I am sometimes. I can be a breakfast person, but I'm not a person that really cares that much for breakfast. It's not high on my priority list, and I know I have to do better with that because I have a in my family. I'm very high risk for diabetes and things like that. So I'm trying to do better. At least now I have some tea. I have a piece of toast, something like that, because I'm not trying to become diabetic. And I'm also trying my best to cut back on sugar because I'm a sugar person. I love candy. I love chips. I love things that I'm not supposed to eat. As what did they call that? I'm predisposed to a condition because many people in my family have it. So I'm trying to do better at my age of awareness, taking care of myself. But anywho, I said all of that just to say that, and for whoever needs to know or hear that. So we're going back to Wheeling Wednesday. So I was talking about some of the things that I'm willing to do right now that I was not willing to do before. Back in the day, I was definitely not willing to do anything for myself. I wanted the easy route. I really didn't care about cutting corners, and I didn't care about the impact of my decisions and who I hurt. And also, I didn't think that when you compromised or when you did grimy stuff, that it affected other people's relationship, how other people viewed you, and it also affects how you view yourself. Because taking the easy route, the cut the road, when you compromise, what your values and things like that, you're not going to be happy at all. Thank you, LaGregoria. So that was something, um, for me, that I most definitely I had to learn, um, that I can't make other people happy. I have to focus on me and doing what I need to do so that I can be happy and be my best. And that's what I'm saying. You have to be willing to change. And I'll tell you all, at the age that I am right now, even though I want to change, there's some things that I feel like it's ingrained in me. I feel like I've been doing this for such a long time, and it's so hard for me to be able to say that I actually deserve to be, I actually deserve to do me, to be myself, and not to be the phony, not to be fake, not to be like other people, but I had to be willing to see myself. And I don't know who needs to hear this message today, but I'm going to say it. You have to be willing to be yourself. Metro says that's right, the comfort zone. Yeah. And you got to let yourself get out of it. You got to let yourself get out of the comfort zone. And that was me. I was in the comfort zone because it's easier for us to talk about what we're going to do, what we're fixing to do, what other people want us to do, instead of thinking about what we want to do. And then after you want to do something, you have to say, okay, how can I follow through with my actions and really make it happen? Not just talking about it. So it's taken me a long time to get to that space in my life where I let myself be who I need to be, not being who sister, auntie, mama, cousin, friend, this person, that person, social media, what other people think that I should be, how other people think I should look, and to not compromise my values, my integrity, my like when what is good for you, when you know what you deserve, and then you have somebody who goes completely the other direction of what you think about yourself, what and and having enough courage to like leave those people alone, because I don't care what anybody has to say, it does take courage for you to walk a path separate in the other direction from what other people want you to do. And I've said this a million times, that I grew up around people who were miserable about their life, angry, controlling, jealous, um, and unwilling to make any changes because they like the comfort zone. Some people like anger, they like to be angry, they like to be selfish, and they like to complain. And I can say that that was me too, because when you grow up in something, it's very hard to unlearn things that you have been seeing and hearing your whole life. I grew up like being told all the time, you're not about nothing, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. That was always, I was always that verbal abuse. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't about nothing. You're not smart enough. You're not this. You're not like this person, being compared to another person. You're not like this person. You're not like that person. Until one day it hit me that I don't have to be like somebody else. All I have to do is be me. And I had to leave those people alone, because those are people who are low vibrational. They don't love themselves, and they don't have a good relationship with themselves. because when I learned to have my own relationship with me, my own friendship with myself, and learning to that I write um, the narrative of my life. You know, you're the author of your life. So if there's something that you want to change, pivot, shift, unlearn, heal, you can. Let's see what I missed. Yes, no validation needed. Yes, realist. No validation needed. But that's one of the things that I had to learn that. I had to learn to stop waiting for people to validate me and validate myself. And it sounds good in theory. It sounds good. Of course, you should love yourself. Of course, you should stand up for yourself. Of course, you should do all of these things. But at the end of the day, if you don't have self-esteem, if you don't know that you can do better, and that was something in my mind. I always wanted to do better. I always wanted to be happy. I always wanted to have healthy amount of self-esteem. I always wanted to do some things for myself, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to be my own friend. I didn't know how to advocate for myself. I didn't know how to walk away from toxic people because I thought that was being disloyal. And I was always a loyal person. But, you can't continue to be loyal to people who are toxic. You have to make a shift so that you can be a better version of yourself. You really do. Let's see. Let me go through the comments. Ebra says, right. Realist says, some folks are toxic. And yes, they are. There's a lot of people who just are toxic, very, very toxic. And I didn't know that. That's something that I had to learn. I don't know if I was probably the weirdest person in the entire world, but I was a person who definitely, um, I was definitely a person who was very gullible, and I just trusted. I guess I just trusted that people were who the person that you saw like at face value. You said you were, you loved me. You said you were my friend, and I just believed that. And we have to be willing to challenge that. Okay, you say you're this. Where is the action behind it? And not just the action, but also how does the energy show up? Because some people's energy, they could be saying one thing, but you can be feeling another. You can. You can be feeling so much anger and bitterness and jealousy. You can feel all of that. Hey, Delvin, how are you? Welcome. Happy Willing Wednesday. I hope your Wednesday's going good so far. Yep. Metro says, yes, all of that is true. Yep. Yep. You have to stay away from individuals that are disrespectful and ignorant, because that's something that it's not that I didn't know I shouldn't be treated that way, but in my mind, I was always the person to feel like, oh, this is the way that I should be treated, and this is the way. Hey, Bree, how are you? Happy Wednesday. Happy Willing Wednesday. So, just going to talk about some things that I had to learn, that I had to be willing to do. Hey, Real Odds and Evens, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I'm trying to figure out this Restream, how to use it. I made like two or three different, like videos, but I don't know how to upload them on Restream. So I'm gonna do better, guys. But I promise. Thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate it. How are you doing, Real Odds and Evens? Thank you so much. So it's Willing Wednesday. I wanted to say to everybody, what are you willing to change in your life? What are you willing to shift, pivot, change? Um, Bree says, I'm good. How are you? Mm, you know, to be honest with you guys, because you guys know I don't play games, I don't cap, I don't put on. Today I'm just in a day of reflection. I've been doing a lot of thinking about my life and where I am and how I want to change certain things. Um, yeah, because I don't. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful or anything, because that's your girl. I'm not an ungrateful person. But have you guys ever been in this space of like your your life isn't going bad, but your life isn't going good, like you're not where you want to be? And I've been doing a lot of work on me, um, doing a lot of inner work, strengthening my mindset, giving myself the permission to do certain things that I never would have done, like solo travel. I've done some solo travel, um, and I had to be willing to let go of the things that people have said, like for instance, you're only successful if you have this or that, right? I had to let that go. And you do. You really literally have to let it go. You can't live according to other people's standards. You have to make the blueprint, and you have to say, I'm the one that says what makes me happy. Delvin says, I am willing to change my attitude. Oh, that's a big one. How do you go about that, Delvin? How did you change your attitude? I can talk about how I changed mine. you know, People will say very often that you cannot change. People don't change. But I'll tell you, if anybody knew me 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't be looking at a positive person, a person who's willing to make changes and be uncomfortable. Because before it was all about me. It was all about me. It was all about what I wanted, and I didn't care about other people. I'm just saying. So that was one of the things, is that I had to be willing to not be selfish, but learning to be selfless. That it's not all about me, but sometimes it is about me. Real Odds says, let's see, wait until it pulls up on here. It's not showing up. Okay, I'm gonna have to get my phone really close. I'm willing to change and shift miserable people in the sidelines. You do nothing but be there, but yet they still are affected. and chase after people that don't want to be around them. Hmm. You guys know how I feel about that stuff right there. The more that I mature, the more that I heal, the more that I love myself. I'm no longer willing to believe a mirage, this smoke screen, smoking mirrors, this fakeness with all the people who are wearing masks in my life. I don't deal with the masked people. Okay. Hey Jill, how are you doing? Happy Willing Wednesday. Right, Metro. All we can do is pray for those and hope that they make changes. But we can't let people compromise our mental, our emotional, our spiritual, our financial health, our physical health. I don't know if I said that, but for me on Willing Wednesday, I really have to be able to see things at face value and realize that I was really not taking care of myself. Like, honestly, y'all, I let myself go. And I've said this before, I let myself put on a lot of pounds. Like I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it, is that a lot of people, they eat their pain. And that's what I was doing. I thought that I was doing good, but really I was masking it. I was putting a bandage on it, and I wasn't giving myself the permission to do the things that I needed to do, like getting some exercise, cutting off some toxic people. I wasn't doing those things. So that's one of the things that I had to say. I got to do better. Delvin says, I changed day by day. I was, I don't know, my tablet is on a different zone than the rest. Delvin says, I changed day by day. I was worse than this. Many people feared to talk to me. I am more open to talk to people with peace. Yeah, that's good, Delvin. I'm really happy for you. Everybody is going through some sort of something, whether it's good or bad. Everybody's going through something. And that's why I always say that, you never know what somebody else is going through. I feel like, why should we let other people's burden or issues become heavier to bear because of your negativity? Jill says, I enjoyed your live yesterday. I was cleaning and listening. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jill. I needed to say that because after I finished my live, I had a good old cry. I had a good old, one of those cries where you really were crying good. For me, that was like a cleansing and a purification for my soul. I needed to talk about some things and release them, and I feel a little ease in all of that, and just being transparent with myself, and not being fake, not putting on a show and pretending that I'm something that I'm actually not. So, you know, it is what they say. It is what it is. Hi, Bright Family. How are you? Welcome. It's one of those things that it is what it is, and not letting other people, and even myself, I also have to be willing to be able to look at myself and to say, you need to work on that and then do it. Not just talk about what you want to do, but a lot of times we're willing to do this. We're willing to talk about, oh yeah, I'm about to do this. I'm fixing to do this, and then we don't do it. Yes. So. Thank you, Metro. So that's one of the things that I had to start working on myself. I really and truly did. Well, thank you so much, Jill, for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So, hello, how are you doing? Happy Wednesday. So, that's one of the things that I had to do that for me. I had to be willing to see things for what it is, and then not letting anybody, and I mean anybody, break me down. And it's easy to get broken down because there's a lot of ways we can get broken down. We can get broken down financially, we can get broken down spiritually, we can get broken down physically, emotionally, mentally. There's a lot of ways that we can get broken down, but we can't allow people to get to us. You got to be stronger. You got to be stronger than other people's opinions. And I have to say this. Maybe some people will like it and some people won't. You cannot live on other people's lack of mental health. Hi, I don't even know how to say your name. Amaya. I hope that's how I say your name. Hi, Siobhan. Hey, your girl, Shivani. How are you? Jill says YouTube doesn't send out everyone's notifications all the time. So I normally just click on the peeps who leave me comments or stop by my lives. I understand, Jill. Delvin says can't let people break us down. We can't give people that power. Well, listen, Delvin, I'll tell you something. I'll say to you and all of my Gems family, we honestly don't want to give away our power, you know? Most of us. I don't know anybody who wants to give away their power. You don't want to feel that way, but you feel how you feel. You get sick and tired of people taking advantage of you and using you and disrespecting you, that you know it does drain you, and that's why you got to cut those people off. You really do. You got to cut off the toxicity. You really do. um they said I'm good. How about you? I'm doing great. I'm doing great today. It's a Wheeling Wednesday, where we talk about some of the things that we are willing to do for ourselves and what we're willing to change. And next, I want to talk about, are you willing to take care of yourself? And I'm not just talking about financially. Of course, you got to provide for yourself and things like that. But what about how you show up for yourself, and when it comes to self-care? And self care isn't just nails and hair and makeup and outfits and stuff. Self care is also how you're feeling mentally. How is your mental health? And really thinking about that and focusing. Are people in my life helping my mental health, or are they making my mental health worse? And that awareness right there, I'm willing to see who people truly are. I'm willing to see that and not hide, not make excuses. I'm willing to say this is the way somebody is and give myself that permission to let them go. Yeah. Let's see. I just saw a comment from Delvin. I don't know why I can't. Okay, there it is. Let me put that on the screen. Delvin says, just because people can't think straight in life, don't let them run your life. Yeah, it's a mess. It really is a mess. And there's a lot of people who are a mess. There's a lot of people who are in pieces. They're broken, manipulative, angry, controlling, jealousy. And, one of the things that I had to learn is that a person who doesn't love you is actually a good thing, because I turn it around another way. I don't let people who do not love me the way that I deserve to be loved to stop me from loving myself the way that I deserve to. And I want to say that to all of my GEMS family. Don't let other people that are unloving, unkind, disrespectful make you transfer that inside of yourself. Cut those toxic people off. Leave them alone. You deserve far better than that. You don't have to compromise in that. It's a lot of people who are just not mentally right. It's a lot of people who need to grow up. Some people, they act their shoe size instead of their age. So that's something that's important for us to realize, that we can't let people out there, we can't let people on social media, you can't let your present situation define who you are. You're the one that defines who you are. And people judge all the time, judge you by your looks, they judge you by so much things, right? Edward says amen. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jill. I really appreciate you. Yep. Bree says some people are just miserable. Mm, that is so the truth. I'm gonna put the link. I hope it will do it. Um, it should do it. I don't know why it's not. Yep, it's not doing it. So I sent out links to some people if they wanted to join in on the panel, but I didn't see any of them come. Hi, Samantha. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. So that's one of the things that I personally had to learn. I had to learn how to be happy with myself. And every woman, every man has to learn how to be happy within themselves. Edward says, we got to be strong and stay prayed up. Yes. You have to find your own way to strength. Everybody's single person is different. For me, I find my strength in looking what I accomplished, what I overcame, and that I'm still here. And anybody who knows anything about me knows that I've been through some things in my life, and they weren't easy things. There are some very tough situations, painful things that happened to me in my life, but I gave myself that permission to not just get over it, but to feel it. I guess what I'm saying is I gave myself the permission to be willing to heal, because sometimes we hold on to things. This happened to me, or they did this and they should not have done that to me. Like, you'll be all wrapped up in that instead of saying, you know what, that happened to me and I can't do anything about it. But I give myself the permission to heal that and to not let it get to me. Things happen to us every day, but we all have a choice to make. Are we willing to let those things go? Or are we going to harbor it? Are we going to, you know, every single day replay it like a scratch record? Or are we going to let it go and say, that was yesterday, that was the past, and today is today? And I can only control what I do. I can't control what other people do. And since I have been doing that, learning to give myself the permission that I cannot fixate on people's bad attitudes, on people's immaturity, controlling, jealousy, whatever a person's projection is. I have to be willing to say, "Aw, you know, can feel bad for people. People can irritate you, but then you got to say, that's it. That's not my choice." Some people have made that choice to be angry, and you have to just let them be angry, and let that go. Not let it get to you, not let it control you, but let it grow you. And I love that. I love that I gave myself the permission to grow and to heal, because some people, they never let themselves grow up. They never let themselves do anything good for themselves. I know I didn't. I didn't give myself that permission to grow past, because we all go through things. But then, honestly, are you allowing yourself to let things go? Are you going to allow yourself to say, I can improve? Hey, Charlene, happy Willing Wednesday. You know, yeah, that I had that written for a long time, Delvin, um, to let it grow you. Hmm. Yeah. If you really take time to meditate on that and let that really sink in, let it absorb, you have to be willing to let things grow you, not keep you stuck, not keep you bitter, not affect your mental health, but let it grow you, because everything in life, I don't believe that there are any mistakes. I don't believe that anything happens by chance. I think everything happens. Some people come into our life to to hurt us, and some people come in our life to heal us, to grow us, you know. And for me, I had to be willing to see that. I had to be willing to want that, because sometimes we want to be stuck in being bitter, stuck in being angry, stuck in jealousy, stuck in the past. And those people that you are complaining about, they did this and that. How do you know that person hasn't moved past that many years ago? You know, I can say that for me, just like I was willing to make changes in my life, I also had to see that other people are growing as well. I had to let that sink in too. Thank you, Charlene. I appreciate it. So that was something in my life that I had to be willing to be committed to make changes. I had to be committed to me, and making a commitment to healing. Boy, I tell you, that's some big stuff right there. Willing and committed to change. And I don't know about you all, but there's a lot of things inside of me that I needed to change. A lot. A lot. There's a lot of things that I needed to change in my life. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. I needed to change my perspective. I needed to change my attitude. I needed to change me thinking one way but doing another, because, well, you could complain about your weight, you complain about your financial situation, you complain about whatever it is. But if you just keep complaining and you're not doing anything to shift that, okay? You're talking about your weight, but have you changed your eating habits? Have you changed your activity level? Have you changed the things that have stressed you out? See, that is one of the things that, if we talk about being in your mature woman stage or your mature man stage, is that you have to be willing to see that you are getting in your own way. You know, when that when I saw that reflection in the mirror, okay, Marlene, you're talking about this, but you're the one that's not doing this, this, and this. See that accountability part and being vulnerable enough to say that? Yeah, I'm standing in the way of my own winning. Um, yeah, I'm standing in the way of my change. I'm standing in the way of my healing, you know. Thank you, Metro. So, that's something. I had to let that absorb inside of myself and not just letting myself stay in the zone of being angry, not staying in the zone of being jealous or being what other people want me to be. So it's a lot. It's a lot to absorb when you think about the person that you are as a woman or as a man. It's based on what you think about yourself, what you allow yourself to think about yourself. Because no matter what, a lot of times we are still stuck in what other people have said. You've let your parents or siblings or friends or exes or other people define the life that you live. You're still in that bitter, angry stage. You're still in the why did they do that to me stage. And for me, I had to be willing to say what it is. Yes, what and this hurt me, but I'm not willing to let it break me. I'm willing to take that and to be my catalyst for change. I'm going to take my pain and I'm going to turn it into my power. And that's what I do every time when I feel down, I feel discouraged, I feel like I don't want to get up and open up my mouth and talk about what I'm going through or talk about something that has helped somebody with life coaching or something that has helped somebody that I'm mentoring or what has helped somebody that I'm giving motivation to and mindset shifting to. Every time I help other people, I help myself. So for me, in doing what I'm supposed to do, in my purpose, my mission, my passion, every time I wake up and I do what I'm supposed to do, other people benefit, other people grow, other people heal. So I look at my life every time I don't do what I know I should do, I'm also holding people back from their personal growth. And when I started looking at my life in that way, that when I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I also stop people from peace of mind, from joy, from healing, from personal growth and development. And that's a real crazy thing to because a lot of times you just be in your feelings that everything is about you, and yes, a lot of your life is about you, but if you're not in a space of healing and personal growth and action, because that is the season that I'm in now, is my season of action and not the season of talking. Stop talking about what you're going to do and just do it. Stop talking about what hurts you and get into some things that will heal you. And I'm doing that in real time. I don't talk about a lot of things that I'm doing, and I'm the type of person that I like to keep my plate full, because if I don't, I can easily get in the mode of procrastination, because that was the former me: procrastination, lazy, listening to other people's opinions of me, and all of that. So I have to have lots of plans, okay? I got to have things that I'm just seeing in real time that I'm accomplishing, because for me, if I'm not accomplishing something, I feel like I'm wasting my day and wasting my life. So I personally had to learn how to say, it's talking to yourself. Like when I wake up in the morning, oh, I'm tired, I'm just going to lay here for a little while, forcing myself out of that comfort zone. Okay, you're tired, but get up anyways. Even if I just get up and I start my day, shower, etc., and then I just will sit there for a little while, then I'm like, okay, go and exercise. Okay, go and have your tea, because that's how I start my day. I start my day first thing since I wake up and I say, thank you. Thank you for life. Thank you for change. Thank you for self love. And because you guys have no idea, you guys have no idea what it has taken to be in a space to say, I love myself. And those who know. If you have ever been in a space of hating yourself, in a space of feeling judged, feeling worthless, you guys can dig what I'm saying. You have to wake up every day and say, because of what I have been through in my life, it's not optional. My only option is to be successful. My only option is to have peace in my life. The only option is to give myself the permission to be who I'm meant to be. And I love this season of my life right now, that I'm not complaining about what I don't have. I'm being in the mode of, I'm thankful for what I currently have, but at the same time, I'm constantly raising the bar. I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly learning, and not just feeling that I have to learn in this way. I learn when people, tell me about myself. I learn when I'm around other people who have different cultures, and I could go down that rabbit hole for a long time. But yeah, when I gave myself the permission to be willing to see myself for who I am, and you have to be willing to say, you know what? I was like, You've been a little lazy. You've been uh, judgmental, or you've been waiting for people to validate you. And that's when I have to forgive myself. I got to give myself that hug. Hi, love baby. How are you doing? Happy Willing Wednesday. And those are the times that I had to, give myself a hug, you know, and be compassionate to myself, because there's a lot of things that happen in our life. And if you look around, there's not a lot of people who are going to say, oh, I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. You got to give that to yourself. Or those are the times where you lean on your faith, your spirituality to get you through it. And yeah, it's all of that. And I know that many of my gems family, you guys have been through things, or you currently are going through some big things. And one of the things that I want to say on this Willing Wednesday is I had to be willing to be able to show up for myself. And that's not easy, because you judge yourself. I have this whole argument that I have with myself on a regular basis. You can't do that. It's the good versus the evil. The good in me knows what I'm good at, but the evil or the bad in me will say, you can't do that. Well, who do you think you are? Or something like that, similar. So I had to learn to overcome that. And every time I do, I say, see there, I did it. And say, oh, what you did this time, but next time will be different. I know, I understand that not everybody is like me, but I'm just giving you a preview of sometimes the thoughts that go are in my mind, that I judge my own self. Like um I put myself down. I can be my own worst critic. I can be my own worst enemy. I'm the one that's judging myself, and we think a lot of times people are judging us, that maybe sometimes they are, but we're the ones that have to overcome it and empower ourselves and say, yeah, you know what? I am feeling today like I can't do it. But that's when that positive self talk comes in and say, but I'm willing to say, even though I feel that way or think that way, I'm going to push through the obstacles. I'm going to mindset shift. And I'm going to give myself the permission to say, even when I'm scared, even when I don't understand, even when I don't have the support, I'm still going to show up for me. And that's what I call being my own best friend. Because this morning, I can tell y'all, your girl did not want to wake up early and go for her sunrise walk. But I think about myself in the future when maybe my legs won't work like they do now, or maybe I can't do certain things for myself. And I know when I get to be that older woman that can't do that, I'm not going to be a miserable older woman. I know that for sure. I'm going to be that little lady sitting in her chair at peace, smiling, because I lived my life, because I healed and I worked on me. I worked on that little girl inside of myself. hmm Or you work on that little boy inside of yourself. And every time when something says, you can't do that, that's when I tell that little Marlene, and I say, little Marlene, shut up, because we're grown now and we can do it. None, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that is something that has helped me so much recently, is getting over myself, getting over my own fears, my own insecurities, the judgments of other people, and just saying, be quiet, shut up, I don't want to hear it, because I'm about to win. And if you are willing to be able to say, I am going to overcome this, I'm not going to be angry, I'm not going to be bitter, I'm not going to make excuses, I'm going to do what I need to do for me. Oh man, I tell you guys, there's no better feeling like when you don't want to do something and then you do it and then something great happens. The more that you silence that laziness, when you silence the procrastination, when you silence the things that people say, you shut it out, shut it out, shut it down, and you get yourself focused on what is ahead. What are you supposed to do? Keeping all of that white noise out, and get yourself focused. And I got things that I say to myself when and I call being in the zone, and looking what is for me. And I remind myself that what is for Marlene, nobody can stop it but me. Thank you so much, Jill. I tell myself that what is meant to be for Marlene is meant to be for Marlene, and nobody can take that away. And that always gets me excited about some of the things that I'm working on in the background, that one day you guys are just going to see the results. And I want to say to somebody that is afraid to step outside the comfort zone, starting a business, doing something you've been wanting to do, maybe a vacation, a trip, cutting off somebody toxic. Immediately when we do something, there's going to be discomfort. In the beginning, there's going to be some sadness, some fear, doubting yourself. But the more you keep putting yourself in those situations, that I'm committed to change. I'm committed to better health. I'm committed to increasing my financial portfolio. I'm committed to change. I'm committed to my peace and my happiness. Yeah. And the more that I get myself out of my comfort zone, is the more, after a while, you're stepping out of the comfort zone, you feel comfort eventually. You feel peace and joy because of anything that you do on a regular basis. After a while, it no longer gets to be uncomfortable. And I love that part. And that's where I'm in right now. I'm on the in between because I'm stepping outside of what I have always done and now doing some things that is like, it's kind of scary. It's something that I don't really know that much about, and I have to keep convincing myself one day it will feel comfortable. You just got to keep doing it, you know. Yes, Delvin says it's always rough in the beginning, but it could get smooth. Yes. It will eventually. You know, it's like the first time when after you stop going to the gym or you stop getting exercise. I tell you, those first and you're huffing and puffing and you're like, oh my god, why am I doing this to myself? But then you start getting slimmer. Maybe you lose that kangaroo pouch, as I call it, or love handles on your body. You get stronger. You feel better. Your mental health improves. For me, even though it's a benefit to be able to be slimmer, I exercise for my mental health. I really do. I exercise for my mental health because every time I go for a walk, a jog, go for pool, water aerobics, or a class, aerobics class or something, every time I do that, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. But the after results, I always get something free off my mind because we as human beings, we always got things that we're thinking about, things that stress us out. And it's every time you do those exercises and leg raises and lunges and Pilates, meditation, the more that you do those things is you release the toxicity, the drama, the judgments, the negativity. You push all of that back. And that always makes me so happy when I release things that was holding me hostage before. So I want to talk about this for a little while. What are some of the things that hold you hostage in your life? Let me see uh, if I nope, I was saying something. I was looking to see if I got that phone call, but I did. Oh, okay, it's back. So I wanted to say this to everybody. Initially, when you start off doing something, like Delvin says, the beginning is rough. Sometimes the middle is rough. Sometimes the end is rough. Sometimes the whole thing, until you get to the gold at the end of the rainbow, your success, your peace, your joy, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. It can be rough, but you have to stay committed and you have to stay focused. For me right now, I'm in the space where I'm tired of being fat. Because I put on a lot of weight. It wasn't even pandemic time. It was just life happening and not eating like I should and doing all this stuff. And maybe for other people, they'd be like, "Girl, you're not fat." But for me, um, I'm not the weight that I want to be. So I have to do that for me. Everybody has to be where they feel good at that space. And I know the weight where I feel my best. I feel good. I feel strong. And it's not necessarily that I got a six pack abs or anything like that. I think I'm way past that stage in my life that I don't think I'll ever get back to my six pack abs, but I can get to the point where I'm not huffing and puffing, and I can't even climb the stairs, because you never know. One day you may need to run or swim or do something, and you can't make it because you didn't discipline yourself. So I think now we're going to start talking about some disciplines. Delvin says this: helping out people holds me hostage. Yeah. You have to do things for yourself. So let's talk about some discipline. And most of us don't like that word discipline. I know I'm definitely a person that doesn't like discipline. Look what Bree put in here. Marlene, get that six pack abs, girl. Child. I don't think it's meant to be for me, Bree. I really don't. I don't think I'm meant um to get that. I don't think it's a part of me, and getting that getting that in my life again. I'm going to put this in the chat. If you want to, Bree, you can come up. I put the link in the chat. I hope it worked. I think it worked. Yes. I just put the link in the chat. If you want to, Bree. Your choice. Bree says, Marlon, get that six pack of abs, girl. And then she also says, I have to work on discipline with weight loss too. It's bad. Yeah. So let's talk about discipline, guys. We usually think about discipline being for kids, right? And kids need discipline. But as adults, I had to learn that I need discipline, you know? Delvin says, I love discipline. It gives us order, and it does. And the more that I have been willing to accept discipline and to not be, oh, everything has to be comfortable, because discipline means knowing what we're supposed to do and letting ourselves do it. Discipline is going to be painful sometimes. It's just like when you're exercising after you haven't exercised for a while. Or sometimes it's letting yourself say, you know what, I did that. It's being accountable. Oh, you don't have to have your camera on, Bree. You can turn that camera right on off. So that was one of the things, is that I had to learn that about discipline. I had to learn how to just, you know what? I have been slacking, and I had to say that to myself. Marlene, you've been slacking. You've been eating your pain, and it's time to stop. Part of discipline is I have to have conversations with myself. And that's why I always encourage everybody to have those self-talk conversations solo. You can't have it with, kids around, this person, that person. You have to go somewhere and be in a quiet space by yourself and have a conversation with yourself. And when I tell you guys, I told myself off recently. You guys will think that I'm so crazy, but it's the truth. I truly told myself off recently. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing for real? It's like you've been slacking, and it's time to stop making the excuses and just make it happen. So I had I started really good with exercising, and then I fell off, and then I got back, and then I fell off. So when I say discipline, it, when you talk about discipline, it means you have to do the things that you can sustain. So, in an ideal world, I would love to be able to exercise 3 hours a day. That would be wonderful. But I already know that's not sustainable. I can't maintain that. You may do it once, or if you can, but me being disciplined is knowing my limits, and limits are not limiting. It's not limiting. So, I have to see things for what they are and give myself the permission to do it, and to say that it's okay. It's okay that you can only do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, but it's that you are doing it. That's a part of being disciplined. It doesn't matter how long that you're doing whatever it is, but the commitment. It's just like every day, because I motivate people. It takes motivation out of me, and I had to learn to be disciplined and learn to pour into myself. I have to take my breaks. I have to get my sleep. I have to take better care of myself. I have to eat more nutritious foods, and that takes discipline, because helping other people, when you help and support other people, it's easy for you to be like, you know what, I'm just going to drive through and pick something up. You know what, I'm too tired, I just want to get sleep and do that. Me being disciplined, I have to say, because I love myself and because I'm my own friend, now I have to prove that I love myself. And every time I get up and I put my sneakers on, that's when I affirm it inside of myself. I really love myself. When I'm tying up my shoes, when I don't want to do something, that's when I got to talk to myself. I really love myself. I'm committed to change. I'm committed to being a better me. I'm committed to loving myself better than I have before. I deserve it. I deserve to feel better emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially. And when I started to think about how I have these financial goals for my life, but I can't pursue financial goals if you cannot handle things physically, or you can't handle things if you're in the bed crying your eyes out, or you're too tired, or you got this going on. For me, that was a part of discipline, is being disciplined enough to say, I'm going to do this even when I don't want to. Thank you, Delvin. I appreciate it. I'm going to do this even when I don't want to. I'm going to do this even when I really don't feel like it, when I have an attitude, when people are getting on my nerves, when I'm getting on my own nerves. I'm still going to follow through and make a commitment to me. I may have to turn my camera off for a little bit, guys, because I got to charge my phone. But that's one of the things that I wanted to say to everybody, is even if you got stuff going on in your life, still choose yourself. You still got to choose yourself, even when other people don't choose you, even when other people don't choose you back. You have to be willing to choose yourself. And that was a hard thing for me. It's usually easy for us to choose ourselves when people choose you back, when people support you back, when people are compassionate and understanding. It gets easier that way. It's easier for us to love ourselves when we're being loved back. But when you're always the giver and nobody is giving back to you, that's when it's hard. That's when it's a challenge. And that's where discipline comes in. Um, and that's why I said I had to learn, I had to work on discipline. I had to really make some guidelines for myself. I had to really learn to treat myself better, just treat myself based on how I feel. I can't just keep treating myself based on what other people want to give me. And I had to learn to stop giving myself the the leftovers. And I was talking to my therapist about that because I have been that way my whole life. I have always been the one that gives to everybody, and then I choose myself last. I've gotten way better than I used to be, but it's still a work in progress. That's still something that I work on a regular basis. I have to learn to stop choosing myself last and learn that I should think about myself. And every single one of us deserves um, to be thought of. Every single one of us. We all deserve to be thought of. We all deserve to be poured into. Every single one of us. We all deserve it. We all deserve to feel loved and to be loved. And it's hard to admit it, but a lot of people in our lives just don't love us, just don't respect us, just are there to use us. And when you realize that people are just there to use you and they're not there because they care about you, but you have to care about yourself. Thank you, everybody, for the likes. I really and truly appreciate it. My goal was on this marathon to get 50 likes. You know, I got a while to go. We just finished our first hour. We're like 28 minutes away from hour two, and I'm trying to push through. So I would love if you guys would like. I'd really appreciate it if we could get what is it, 20, no 30, 31 more likes. I think so. Yeah. But anywho, getting back to this conversation and talk about discipline and learning to live for ourselves and not put ourselves last. I want to ask you guys that is there anybody who still puts themselves last? Let's be honest, guys, because this is about self improvement, self growth, and self development. Is to not keep letting friends and relatives and other people come before us and compromising our our goals and our focus and our peace, mental health. I was definitely so much Delvin. Yeah, 31 likes to go. We'll see if it happens. That time I do a live stream. I always have a goal in my mind about what I want. And for me, I have seen that when I get at least 50 likes on my videos, I always get more, like the video gets recommended. The more likes that you give is the more that it's going to be recommended. So, you know, it is what it is. So thank you so much to everybody who is here live and watching this. Delvin says, I put myself last many times. Yeah. And I want to ask you guys, what is your reason why you put yourself last? Because I'm going to share mine. Um, I always was the person to put myself last. And if we're going to have this transparent conversation about ourselves. I always put myself last just because I never thought that I was important. And there will be people, oh no, I think I'm important. I love myself, but how much do you love yourself? It's two different things. Yes, you can love you. How much you love yourself is a completely different thing. I had to learn that I was not loving myself in the best way possible. I wasn't loving myself in a way that will bring me peace. I wasn't loving myself to where I was using talents the way that I deserve to. So anybody who needs to hear this, whether you're live, you're watching on the replay, whether it's your first time here or you've been rocking with my channel for a while, I wanted to encourage you with this statement. You deserve to live your life. Yep. You deserve to live your life. And we can't live our life in the best way possible if we always put ourselves last. And we'll even say that sometimes we don't even make it on the list. Because I have been guilty of that. If I'm going to be completely honest about things, I don't even make the list a lot of times. It's with those times where you're almost to the point of having a meltdown. You're not like broken, but you're out. And I have been a victim of so many times of not paying attention to my own red flags. I'm tired. Have you guys ever been just tired? Oh, I have been in that space where I have just been so tired that I feel like my body has had to shut me down because I'll just keep going because I just don't treat myself the way that I should sometimes. What the body will do, the body will always protect you from yourself. It will shut down when it needs to. But I don't want us to get to that space anymore of our body trying to self-preserve. We all need to work on making decisions for ourselves and also working on how we can be a better friend to ourselves. And if you don't know how to be a friend to yourself, oh man, yeah, we're going to talk about this. Because if you don't know how to be a friend to yourself, other people will use you, run over you, backstab you, and bring disruption, dysfunction, and mental health issues. That happened to me for a long time. People keep doing things to you as long as you allow them. Hey, Sirius. Happy Willing Wednesday. I hope you're good. So that was something recently that I had to learn. I recently had to learn to stop putting myself last. I did that for a long time. And sometimes I don't put myself last, but I put myself very low on the pole. I put myself very low in the priority list. And I wanted to say to everybody, stop putting yourself last. Stop putting yourself last. Gentlemen, stop putting yourself last. About yourself. Think about your physical health. Think about your financial health. Think about what you want to do. Think about goals and the things that you are trying to achieve in your life. And you can't have good things and great things in your life if you do not do some good things for yourself. And we each know ourselves what we need to do. For some, like talking about, some people need to learn how to be more disciplined. People need to for themselves to not let other people use them. Don't let people You guys, please let me know if you hear me. Do you guys hear me?
Okay. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Oops. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Can everybody hear me in the live stream? Can you hear me, Marlene? Let me see what's going on here. All right. Okay, I can hear myself. Let me see. That's mute. Okay, let me with this one. Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, Marlene must be having problems with her um, sound. So this is Geo, as y'all know, Boss Life Online, Friends with Super Channels, Team Build with Geo, and my other channel is Geo's Vlogs. So I don't know exactly what Marlene was talking about because I just saw her message in my Instagram inviting me to this 3 hour marathon. So what was she talking about? Not now, you went out. Okay, I'm just reading the the chat. Okay, I'm still here. Okay. Well, I'll just tell y'all. Hopefully, she'll come back. Uh, what I'm all about. I'm all about. When I first came to YouTube back in 2019, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just using YouTube to upload videos for my website that I own. In fact, I own like 4 or 5 of them back in the day when I first quit my job and I had enough money in my bank account to at least pay my rent for 2 years, also my car insurance, my health insurance, and just other monies for other things because I had a kid. I had a kid and I had to take care of her. Her daddy wasn't available at the time, so I had to put forth all that money. So, but I wanted to quit my job because
I don't know. It's not
okay,
letting
we can
me
hear you.
do anything.
I hear you, Marlene.
Oh, I'm so frustrated.
Oh, I hear you, Marlene. She probably can't hear me. She was talking about putting yourself first in life. Yep, we should do that.
You guys can see me and hear me. I don't know what you guys
I
can
can.
see and hear.
Okay, let me just tell her. 1972. Let's see. Can you see the chat? All right. Let me see if I can
See and hear.
message her. Maybe she'll see the message. I don't know. Message. Marlene. All right. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what has happened. But yeah, we all have to put ourselves first before other people because some people just ain't gonna do that for you. They won't. But I had to learn the hard way too, is to put myself first. Today I don't have a problem with it, but back in the day, before I went to therapy, I didn't do that. I always tried to please people so that I could have friends and hide all of my sadness and stuff, trying to make other people happy and be my friend. So what happened was all of that got pushed down, and then I exploded just from the sadness. I couldn't hide it anymore. And I'm so glad that happened because now today, I take a day out for myself. Okay. And
Okay.
you hear me, Marlene?
Yes, I had to. I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi went out, so I just came back on my tablet. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
good. Sorry about that, Gio. I wasn't trying to leave you out in the middle of the drowning ocean.
Girl, I don't drown anymore, Marlene, so I don't know what you're talking about, girl.
You know what I'm talking about? It's inviting you on the panel and then leaving you. I wasn't trying to do that.
I understand that. I don't do pettiness.
Yeah, no, you don't. So I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead about what you were saying.
Child, I didn't forgot. I got that senior mama going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know that must be really frustrating for you, Marlene. And I'm sitting up here joking about it, but I know when you lose Wi-Fi and things don't go your way, I know it's frustrating. I'm so sorry this happened to you.
So don't worry. Don't be frustrated. I have to learn everything in life is a lesson.
Yeah,
Everything. And just in that
and
I had to learn to breathe. It's like, girl, just breathe. It's okay.
right, and you own a new app anyway.
Yes.
So you have to learn the app or what to do when things go not go your way. So once you get used to Restream, you will know if your Wi-Fi goes out again. Now you'll know what to do, right?
Yep. Now I know what to do.
Right. So it'll be okay. Hey, realist and everybody in the chat. What was I talking about? Putting myself first. Oh, that's right. Child, I ain't got a problem with that. Because I will take off 2, 3 days just to get some peace for myself and try to regroup and think things through. Sit out on my balcony and just look at the sky and talk to God and figure out what it is that He's trying to tell me to do, and then just go do it. I don't sit around anymore and think about what people ain't gonna like if I do this and I do that. I don't care what they don't like and what this and that. I'm gonna do what I need to do to feel okay, Marlene, to be Geo. I can't be nobody else but me. So I don't try to people please anymore and try to get people to like me because that's not putting yourself first. That's putting them first. And I ain't trying to do that. And I'm not trying to go back and sit in the chair for another 5 years. Okay? So
Well,
I'm the kind of girl that go ahead, Marlene.
I child sitting in the chair is expensive.
Sure.
And your girl is not rich. Not yet.
Yeah.
You gotta
So
you gotta do something different. I'm not gonna discount it, Gio, because if it wasn't for therapy, listen, if it wasn't for therapy, I think a combination, not just therapy. If it wasn't for therapy, maturity, good friends, and being in a space in my life where I was ready to heal, I would be still doing the things that I used to do. Like I've told y'all before, I was the person I love to fight, but
yeah,
I fighting all the time, it becomes exhausting.
for real it do.
It was exhausting all the time to always feel like, oh yeah, I'll just sock them in their throat. I'll just kick them. I'll just, and I had to learn, like, Marlene, you don't have to always do stuff. You have to learn to let things go. And I think, oh man, it's hard to say it because it's like talking to your own self, but I had to learn that I had to just be myself, and that there's some situations that I can't control. I just have to make a commitment to being myself, to doing the right thing, and forgetting about everybody who doesn't like or support or understand me.
Yeah. Child, look here. Many times I'm just going, child, I don't have time to try to figure out who don't like me and what can I do to get them to like me and all of this here stuff. Now, baby, if you don't like me, you just don't. I don't care. You probably don't like you either. But what I'm saying is that I'm not gonna do anything to try to make you like me. You see what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be Geo. This is who I am. You know, I used to couldn't even take up for myself because I was too busy trying to make you like me. Today I put myself first, and say, Gio, you okay like you are. You are worthy just like you are. You are a precious child of God. So if you really got to know me like Marlene has and a few other people here on YouTube, you would love me too, because I love me. And I know how to support myself as well as you. So I would make a really good friend if you was a really good friend. You understand me, Marlene? Because see, I'm gonna put myself first, you know, and when I learned how to do that, that's when I started to feel good about Geo. I don't have to like everybody. Everybody ain't gonna like me, so I don't have to try to make them my friend. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have to. That's my thing. Your thing probably was something else, but I wanted everybody to like me because I really didn't like myself back then. You see what I'm saying? So, of course, today I know how to put Geo first. I know how to support myself, and I know that I love myself so that I can give all of this love to other people, and know how to support them and set boundaries with them when I have to, and tell them, when you did this, I felt this. That's putting yourself first, baby, not letting people run all over you. You understand? I ain't trying to let nobody run over me, no man, no dog, no cat, nobody. Okay?
Yep.
Because I used to do that and all I felt was hurt. So if you're trying to come this way and you acting out and acting stupid, Geo gonna put a stop to it, because either I'm gonna block you. If I like you enough, I might say, hold up, wait a minute. When you saying all of this stuff, it make me feel this way. See, today I know how not to make people put up a wall, because if you go in with the head shaking and all of this here stuff like my little sister, you ain't gonna get nothing but a wall put up. And guess what, Marlene? It took me practice to learn how not to do the head shaking and talk loud and all of this here stuff. Today I know how to just say, hey, wait a minute. Something ain't right here. Can we talk about this? Because when you said such and such and such, I felt this. And I had to learn how to calm down and say it that way so that the other person can hear me. That's if our friendship is worth saving. If it ain't worth saving, I might do the head shake, Marlene. Because, see, I'm here and I ain't trying to sit up here and lie about nothing, okay? Geo just might do that, but if it's a friend and I really care about them, or a romantic relationship that I really care about, yeah, I'm going to use my head and I'm going to use my tools, because I don't want to lose that person. So I think all of that is putting yourself first, Marlene. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Jill, because there's a lot of people who they talk about they love themselves, right? We hear it all over social media. I love myself. Yeah, you think you do, but you
Mm.
don't really know how. I had to learn in therapy that loving yourself and the way you treat yourself are two different things. You can love yourself in theory, in words, and saying I love myself, and you can tell yourself that, but when it comes to what you allow in your life, how do you allow yourself to be treated? How do you allow people to talk to you? How do you talk to yourself? Do you speak up for yourself when you need to? And I don't mean rah 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 and screaming and cussing people out. I mean getting your point across without putting people down. that
Yeah.
is that's an art form, and it takes maturity to tell people how you feel without using profanity, without compromising your values. You just like, this is what it is, and that's it. And that is that I needed therapy to do because opposite from you, Gio, I was the person that I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to speak up for myself because that's the reason why I was fighting my whole life. Therapy helped me to unearth that. I was fighting because nobody ever fought for me.
Yeah.
And I had to, and I was like, well, if you're going to save yourself, that's one thing you will do as a human being. Okay, I'm just throwing out in the deep end. I'm over here drowning, and everybody just looking around like nothing's going on. So I had to learn that part that everything is not something to fight about. Not everybody is worth that time and that commitment to, talk with them. Some people you just gotta leave them alone because
Yeah.
that's wasted energy and wasted time. But like you said, if somebody is worth it to you, then you're going to talk about things. You're going to communicate with them about things. And I think it's that balance. What I had to learn, Gio. I had to learn the balance of everybody and everything is not worth fighting for. But at the same time, you have to fight for yourself. You have to fight for your peace. You have to cut people off. You have to mind your own business. And the biggest category is knowing what I wanted. And now that I have healed, I have learned to be my own friend. I've learned that about myself. All these years of my life, I was just going through life, but I didn't have any pull. I didn't have anything that I was walking toward. I was just, a new day. Okay, yeah, you go to work. Yeah, you have things on your agenda to do, but there was no direction to my life. I didn't have a purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. It's, you know, uh, when my therapist first asked me, "Do you love yourself?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, I don't know, because if you did, you would not have let blah, 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 blah happen to you. You would have stood up for yourself. You have to learn to love yourself." So I wanted to know, how do you do that? How do
Mhm.
you how do you really learn to love yourself? So she gave me an exercise to do. Okay, the exercise was, I love myself. I am a pretty girl. I am all of that. I can do anything I want to do if I put myself together, put my mind to it. I love who Geo is today. Geo is a smart girl. Geo has hopes and dreams. Geo is an excellent mother. Geo is an excellent worker and thinker, and Geo is an excellent singer, and she writes lyrics. What more what more do I need to love myself? I love myself. I love myself because I am a precious child of God. I am going to make it to heaven because I am going to do the right thing because I love myself. I will not let people run over me anymore because I love myself. That's what I had to do. And guess what, Marlene? That takes courage.
Yes, it does.
Okay? So if I had not have practiced these things, trust me, guys, I could not say this today. So I wanted it so bad. I wanted to love me so bad that I fought through the tears. I fought through the what you call the negativity that was telling me that I wasn't worth loving. I fought for my life. So if you think you're gonna come up in my life with some bull, Geo ain't gonna take it. And that's how come I am the way I am today, because I fought for this. I worked for it. I cried for it. I asked Jesus for the courage. So no, you're not going to come up in my life trying to put yourself first all the time. I'm not going to have it. You're not coming up in here talking to me no any kind of way. I'm not going to have it. You're going to come up in my life because you like me and you want to be friends with me and you don't want anything from me, because a player, I didn't play it all. I didn't learn how to get stuff I want from people, how to use them, everything. So if you come up in my life with that bull, I'm going to stop you right away. Why? Because I love myself. And today I'm going to put myself first and tell you to hit the road, Jack. And don't come back. No more, no more, no more. Okay? I don't play that, Marlene. I am Gio, a precious child of God. And I'm putting myself first today.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Gio. People don't understand if they have never been through it. You know, it's one thing to say it. Like when I first started therapy, and like I've said it many times before, I started therapy because I wanted to change my siblings. So I started out therapy toxic. I said, listen, doc, they need help. And she was like, they need help. She said, well, what about you? Don't you need help? I said, no, I'm good. She said,
Mm-hmm.
okay. She said, okay, well, let me be the judge of that part. Tell me about yourself. And I was like, what? We don't need to talk about me.
Well, right there, she know you was crazy.
She said right then, and she rolled her eyes. She said, Lord, this is going to be one. She said, I knew right away. She said, from the moment you said, I'm here to help my siblings and I don't need help, she's like, yeah. Yeah. But, but I'm grateful for that, because if I never matured, healed, and be willing to be accountable for me and learn to stop enabling bad behavior, letting people do things, and then I keep doing things because I think, oh, that's being a good, kind person of faith, or that's I'm a good sister, I'm a good this, I'm a good that. When you're not being good, you're actually stunting people's personal growth. And I didn't understand that part, Gio, because I was definitely the person that was always like feeling that I'm helping somebody. And you tell yourself that, oh, I'm helping this person and that person, but actually you're stopping them from growing. And I believe that's one of the reasons why you were put in my life, Gio, is because I had just got out of therapy when we started to become friends. And I wouldn't say I was toxic, but I only had a few things left on my list to work on. And one of them was getting out of the zone of having things done for me. And it's not really that I chose that. That was my whole upbringing. Being the last child, nobody let me do anything for myself. It was like my parents, my siblings, everybody. Oh, please, you don't know what you're doing. So, a part of that in my healing and my therapy was saying that I can do things for myself. I'm smart enough, I'm intelligent, I can do it. And I had to start talking to myself about that, because when you've been used to someone doing things for you for the majority of your life, I had a lot of self-doubt. I
Yeah,
didn't think, not
they
that
didn't
I
give
thought I
you
was stupid, but
time
I
to
didn't
grow
know.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but I didn't mean to cut you off, but your family didn't think that you had enough sense to make decisions for yourself.
Mhm.
So they did it for you, which what happened was it made you feel like you couldn't do anything without other people, and they just made it so that you had to ask other people to do the work for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you grew up with that, and that's really not your fault. And they thought that they was helping, but what they was doing was crippling you.
Yep.
you know and today, if you go and you talk to them about it, I bet you they don't understand where you're coming from.
Oh no, when I have tried to talk, me and you, we've talked about this separately, but when you become healthy and you're not toxic anymore, I can take ownership of the things that I did. But they can't, either because they don't want to, they don't want to face it, they don't want to understand, they don't want to ever say that they did wrong. And it's okay. I had to learn that part, that I don't have to, tell them everything that they did. All I do is I stay in my present and be who I am today. And
Right.
that's it. Because before it used to be like, you hurt me. You did this. And they're like, no, I didn't. All I ever did was help you. Because in their mind, them doing all of these things for me was helping me.
Yeah. And they'll never see it any different unless they get healthy enough to understand how that made you feel, or how that hindered you in your life, and how you had to work so hard to undo what they did. And that is, and as I'm talking about it, it makes me sad, because that's, parents, as parents, or siblings, cousins, or whatever, don't understand that some things that they do to their siblings hurt them and cripple them in life going forward. And then they want to learn where she learned all this stuff from your butt. And then you the one got to work through that from what someone else taught you. And I had to learn, really, Marlene, is to forgive them, because that's all they knew how to do. But it took me years to understand, to say that out loud, and to understand, well, that's all they know.
Hmm.
And
And
then your parents may have told them to take care of you.
yes, and that's something that I learned. And in my therapy, I came up with this on my own, which is going to be a chapter of my book. And I called it "Enable to Disable,"
Right.
because they enable, because they do all of these things and they cause you to be disabled. And I was. It was like they were doing all of these things for me my whole life, Gio, right? And then
Mhm.
they're like, "You're grown. I'm not doing nothing for you no more." And it was
Right.
like, "What?" It was like, "What? Huh?" So, and that's a part of people being toxic. They do all of these things and they don't understand the emotional, the mental, and the physical, the spiritual, the financial impact that they do to other people. And I really don't believe that my relatives were trying to do things to bring me pain and hurt, but it did, because I had to do a lot of crying. For me, Gio, it was like you being 18 years old and learning to walk for the first time.
I know, because when I first met you, I was like, what? What?
I was like, what? Like, what do you mean I got to do that? Or it was like, when you're at a job, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I first started my first job, when I tell you, Gio, lazy, oh, I was just standing there like, and they're like, you need to, like when you're at a job, you need to be able to just find work to do. I would
Right.
be like, I was like, so, and they're like, aren't you doing? And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? And they're like, you have to, move from one task to the next. I was like, what you mean? I don't know what you're talking about, because I was just used to somebody always telling me what to do. So part of my growth too, Gia, was learning how to be a self starter and not waiting for other people, finding out what I want to do. It's a lot of lessons that I had to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah, you've grown a lot since we met in that area. I
Mhm.
mean, I didn't. You did Restream, and I still don't know how to do it.
See, doesn't that show you that how much I've grown?
Yes. When I first met Marlene, it's not that she didn't know how to do anything, but I could always tell by the conversation that you really wanted me to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? And because I liked her so much, I would just let me do because it won't take me but a minute to do it. But then things get old,
Yeah,
okay?
every time I was like, well, and in my mind, you became my family, Gio. You didn't even know that, but in my mind, you became my family. So I started treat. Okay, you're my family, so you're good. People who love me, they do things for me, and you're like, Marlene, I'm not going to do this for you. You need to do it. I was like, say what? And when
And
you
at
told me,
first, I was kind of afraid to tell her that because I really liked Marlene and I liked our friendship. And I liked her because I could talk to her about, what I've been through. And she would just understand where I was instead of my family. They couldn't understand, but Marlene could. So I didn't want to tell her that. But then I thought about it. I said, well, you just enabling her. She's never going to learn this if you keep doing it for us. So I just told her.
oh, when I'm telling, when you said, Marlene, I don't know how to tell you this. And that's how I was already bracing myself. Because anytime when somebody says, we need to talk, I was like, Lord, well, we need to. And I'm thinking, what did I do to her? I was like, what did I do now? And then she said, well, Marlene, I like you and everything, and we're really good friends, but you need to do stuff for yourself. I was like, what? She said, you have good ideas, but you expect for me to do them for you. And initially, when somebody tells you the truth, in the beginning, I was like, no, I don't. Not. And then when I thought about it, I took a few days and I thought about it, and I was like, she's right. I was like, but I didn't know any other ways
Yeah.
to I didn't know any other ways because that's all I had known. And I'm so grateful. And I'm telling you that God gives you the right people in your life at the right time, because Gio was very patient with me. I know you didn't want to, Gio, but you were very patient with me. You said, well, Marlene, you do this. And she really did take me by the hand, y'all, like literally. And you do this, and you go do this, and you research, and then I would do it, and then I'd be like, I did do it. I was like a little kid, like I was 7 years old, doing things because I literally was. I don't think Gio knew that, but I felt like a little kid, like I did it, like I was doing something, and it was like somebody saying, "Good job, Marlene."
I know, but see, that's a lot of growth for you, Marlene, because today, you just go do what you got to do. There are some things that I still that Marlene will call me, and because I have way more knowledge in that area than she does, I just do it because I be wanting to know how to do it too. You know what I'm saying? But others, but when we first met, this is a whole different Marlene in that area. Doing things for herself. So I really do understand that, Marlene. Maybe no, your family may not, but Geo does. And I
Yeah.
knew I had to be careful about how I said things because I didn't want you to feel like I was putting you down. But I knew I had to say something because it was bothering me because I'm like, I got to do stuff for myself. I need to put myself first in this situation. And Marlene need to learn how to do stuff for herself in this situation. So I had to wrestle with that before I even brought it to you.
See, and Gio, and I can appreciate you saying that because I know that I have messed up a lot of relationships because of who I was. And, sometimes in life, people are the way they are, and people would always say, I was lazy and I was this and I was that. But actually, I have never been a lazy person. I just needed someone to believe in me, like Gio did. And Gio has always been my day one. Like, even when I didn't believe in myself, you always did. And that means so much to me. And it's rare, like Realist says, it's rare to find a genuine friend on this app. And I can say that, like people say, you can't find friends online, and yes, it's rare, but yeah, you can find because out of all of this, I found about 5 or 6 genuine friendships that in real time we check on each other and things like that. But Geo came into my life where it was right after what was it 2018?
19.
It was. I don't know
Yeah,
why
it
I
was
thought
29. No, it was 2019 because that's when I started. That's when I found out I could make money on YouTube, but I never was. Then I changed my name from Geo Monroe to Boss Life Online. And then I met you in Lisa's live
yeah.
because you had living your best life. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, yeah, that's a good one because I'm living my best life. And then when I saw her go live, that's how we met.
Yeah, and when I met you, I was when I say I was a hot mess, I used to be doing lives in the bed, eating with a bonnet on. Mm, 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 mm.
Said, why is she in the bed? And she had really good stuff to say too, because I really liked her, and I could tell she had been to therapy because of the words that she was using. I said, this girl's speaking my language, but she need to get up out that bed and that bonnet. I don't know if I told you that or what. Did I, Marlene?
Did and I'll tell you guys something. This is one thing about Geo. In the beginning, she will get you. Hey, mom, how you? Oh, I'm good. And then she gonna strike you. What you doing in the bed?
I have to set it up, Marlene.
You set me up. You set me up. I was like, oh, he said, what you doing?
What you doing with that bonnet on, girl? You're motivated. Get up out there. And ever since then, Marlene been on pounds.
Even and I learned from you that if you can't be presentable, turn your camera on. And I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
can't.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
My
I was like,
mentor did me the same way, Marlene. She did me the same. That's how I learned. But let's talk about this right quick. And it's about putting yourself first. When we get together and we talk, we talk some real stuff, and we talk about how we made it through all the stuff in our lives. And then there are some people that say, I wish I could. How can I find a friend like you and Marlene? I want a friend like that. Well, you have to be a friend to yourself, and you have to work through your issues so you'll know what your issues are so that you don't run off your friends.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you have to be honest with your friends, especially when they get on your last nerve. You have to find a way to let them know in a nice way that, I love you and stuff. But when you do this, I feel this, because some people don't know what they do and how it affects you. And most people don't even know. They don't do it maliciously. They just don't know. So if you want a real friend, you got to be real to yourself, and you got to work through your own issues,
Mhm.
and then you have to be a friend to yourself, right, Marlene?
And I'm so grateful that Gio was a friend herself, because if Gio had keep doing what my family had always done, I would never have experienced personal growth. I would never have had the strength to say I could have multiple channels. I could start a business. I could do big things in my life, because I always had been raised and had the thought process that I couldn't do anything without other people's support. And
Yeah,
telling you, Gio, that has been a healing to my soul, for you to be able to do something for yourself, follow through, and then see it succeed. Telling
yeah.
you, it's
Now
a good thing.
it is, and it's so much encouragement to yourself, and you feel so good, and then you feel like, ooh, wait, I can do anything I want, and then that's when that love for yourself grows and grows, and confidence and courage and everything you need to keep going forward. You have to work through your issues, whatever they may be. You have to work through them in order to be your true self. That's how come me and Marlene are really good friends, because we worked through our issues way before we met, and not that we are done working through our issues. We continue to work through our issues. We continue to grow our friendship. We continue to just tell each other the truth. You know, that's how, why we are such good friends, is because we love one another for one thing, and then that's because we love ourselves, and it's just, I count myself very lucky. The first thing that attracted me to Marlene was her name, the Living Your Best Life. That
Mhm.
was, I was like, oh yeah, let me go see what she talking about. And even though Marlene was in the bonnet and the whatever and in the bed, I enjoyed the words that was coming out of her mouth, because it was just such a joy to hear somebody else talk about their lives and how they made it through. It's not that many people on YouTube or any app that's going to talk about their lives for real
Yeah,
and yeah, and
without adding anything extra. You know how like people will tell a story, but then they'll add all kinds of stuff and lie and stuff. That was partially true, but you know how like people will make it glamorized and not what it really was.
yes. I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm gonna tell you how it was. I cried many rivers. It took courage. I prayed to Jesus. I had to write letters. I had to tell myself that I'm good enough. I had to learn how to love myself. See, when people come to you like that, then they are real people. You know, and real people know real people. The games, we all can play the game, so we know what the game is. But when realness come your way, people always want to say she don't know what she talking about. That's just a lie, because you ain't got enough courage to look within. And I said it. Yes, you don't. It takes courage to do that, to look within, to see what you need to work on. That's hard. And it took me 6 months sitting in the front of a therapist, Marlene, to find courage. And she, you know what she told me? She said, you need to call on God to help you get past all of that fear that's on top of what you need to do to set yourself free. And she taught me how to call, how to write it out in the journal saying, Dear Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit, I'm scared. That takes courage, people. And if I can sit here and tell y'all this, y'all know I made it through. And that's
Yes.
how come I shed tears. And I'm so proud of myself that I did it. Marlene, I used to tell you when we first met, we made it. I
Yes.
don't even know if you understood where I was coming from, but look at us today. We made it. It's a lot of people don't make it, but we did because we fought for it. So of course we gonna be the best of friends. And if you ain't never fought for your life and you still doing that messed up stuff, you ain't gonna never have a friend like me and Marlene. I can tell you that now.
And you know what, Gio, part of being that person of personal growth, I've actually gone in the past and told people that I know when we were friends or when we were in a relationship. I know when this or when this and that happened. Like I went backwards and said, I cannot change what I have done, but what I can do is apologize for what I did and be accountable for that. And I'm not looking for us to, you know, keep a relationship, because when you hurt people, you have to understand that when you bring pain to people, they cut you off to protect themselves. And I
Right.
get that, you know, and I had to own that. I had to eat that. And but I have to say that so that I don't have people out there hurt behind me, you
Yeah.
know? If you really mature and get to that space, you realize when you were immature, when you were selfish, when you didn't show up for people because of whatever reason. And when I sit and I think, because the healed person that I am now I can be like, oh my God, I did this, and this. Like it all the cards are on the table. Everything it is shown to you about who you were. I can't fix it, but but you can always say, I apologize for this, and this. I'm so
Right.
sorry. And
Yep.
then you move on with your life.
Yeah, and that's how come I wrote letters because my sisters wouldn't let me apologize. I went back to my therapist and she said, write them letters. They'll read that. So everybody in my life that I even thought I heard, I sit down and it took courage to do that. To
Yes, it
sit
does.
down and I wrote letters. But every letter that I sealed up and put it in an envelope and sealed it up. Do you know how freeing that was? Oh my God. I hurried up and wrote the other ones and cried through every one of them. But I took accountability, like you said, and I said I was sorry.
Yeah.
It takes courage to do all of this kind of stuff. And but see, this is the thing, Marlon. You have to want your life. And you have to want to be a better person. And you have to want to change. Okay? And if you want all of this stuff, you're gonna fight for it. I fought for my life, child. I'm not trying to go back and be nobody else but Geo. That's it. I'm done.
That's Gio, but that, like you said earlier, like we've been talking about, it takes courage to be accountable, to look and be like, you know what? I was a coward. I was a manipulator. I was so jealous. I was lazy. I was this, you know. It takes courage to be able to look at yourself and to say what it was. No sugarcoating, you know, no capping, that okay, I did this, and own it and say that is what I did. Now what can I do to make sure you don't repeat that same behavior.
Yeah, you have to learn from it. If you don't learn nothing from it, you're going to continue to treat people hurtful. But if you learn, if you sit down and you really look at yourself and own what you did, you will change it and you will learn from it. Because that's if you want to. A lot of people can look at it and say, "Well, I still said what I said." No, that's not growth. That's just putting a band-aid on it. You have to look at it and say, I really hurt this person. Darn, man, I am so sorry. You can either call the person up, write them a letter, or however, but you must apologize to the person. And then that's how you grow. And when a situation comes up like that, or whatever you had to apologize for, you'll be like, oh, I'm not going down that road. You learn from your mistakes. That's how you grow. That's how you become a friend to yourself and others, and how you start loving yourself. You have to love yourself, child. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. And that's the first thing. It's the process. You have to, everything that you did in the past, you got to forgive yourself first. After you forgive yourself, that's when the love start building up within you. I had no, and look, let me just say it, Marlene. I had no idea how to do none of that stuff. My therapist was talking all that crap. I'm sitting there looking at her like, I'm like, do you think I know how to do that? I had to ask her, how do I get started? And that's when she told me to get a journal and start writing to myself, telling myself I love myself, and getting on my knees and asking God to take me back. I'm sorry I left. All of this kind of stuff. You do whatever it takes to love yourself. That's where, when you start doing that, that's when other people that love themselves is going to be very attracted to you. Trust me.
And since I've gone back in time and apologized to people, and things like that, and they say, why weren't you like you are now back then? It's like, because I wasn't.
Well, because you didn't know how to be
Mm-hmm.
nothing else but what you were back then. That's how come you have to look back at your parents, at their parents, at their parents. They only did the best they could. And when my therapist told me that, I was mad at her. I'm saying they could have done better. Look what they left me with. But then after I got through going through what I had to go through and apologizing to people, I had to look at myself and say, I only did the best I could with what I had. That's when, Jesus, I forgave myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I can only work with what I had. That was it, Marlene. I didn't know any better. You didn't know any better. But today we do. This is why we come on here together sometimes to let people know that just because you act a certain way, you can always apologize for it and forgive yourself, but you do better and you don't go back to that old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. But if you can get help from a therapist, I suggest that you do.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
And also with that, it's a combination of many things. It's that you have to be accountable for your actions and your behavior, also your mindset. Because I was definitely the person that I did not have a good mindset. Like, I always used to think, like when I met you, oh, people have to do things for me. They have to, they must. And then when I grew up, matured, part of that, the reason why I felt like people had to do things for me is because I was lazy. I was lazy, I was selfish, and I was immature, you know?
Hmm.
And once you learn those things, when it's revealed to you, if you have good people in your life, they are going to help you to be a better you. And when you have
Right.
people in your life like Gio, and I have good friends and mentors and people who really love me, they are going to check you on things because people know what you're good at. People know what you're capable of doing and being, and
Uh,
they give you that permission to do that.
what is it? Hold on for a second. Hold.
I was just telling you, Taylor will be a plane captain.
I'm gonna call you back. Bye.
Bye.
I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't figure out how to mute this, Marlene.
I didn't hear anything anyways.
Oh, okay.
So that was one of the things, Gio, that initially when you go through things in your life where either other people hurt you or you hurt people, you're mad, they're mad, but then you also have to get to that fork in the road where you have to say, it's time to stop being mad at what other people did and what I did, and forgive yourself for that, let it go, and then learn, why did do I do that? Why do I allow it? Why do I treat myself that way? Why do I treat other people this way? That is when your life is going to drastically change. And I call it the season of radical change. And if you don't want something, you're going to get what you always have gotten. Like, until I wanted to let go of anger, I was always going to be angry. I was always going to find situations that I could take out my anger on people. It's like, because I had I've shared that with you and the live streams when I was that toxic person. I always would complain about the people who were toxic, but also I would find other people so that I could say, see, all of you. I would categorize people and say, all of you are the same. Like I've said that very easily. I always grew up saying I hated black men. I've told you that before, Gio, and I've said that before in the stream. And my thing about that was, Gio, not that I hated black men, but I hated the way that black men had treated me. And it's a projection. You show up with what you are. And when I healed that, I learned that I didn't hate the black men. I hated the treatment. And when I came to a better space and talked about things and what did I do, what did they do, and learning to choose a better quality person, because that is also a part of maturity too, is that you can't see all of the red flags in people, think that you're going to change them, and then blame them for being who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was
So, yeah, Marlene, I understand all of that. Been through all of that. Okay. Because my therapist, she told me when you really, really love yourself and you really have made some changes, you'll know the red flags and you'll know not to ignore those red flags. If you has always, if you grew up in a dysfunctional family and you seen cheating going on and fighting going on, no matter just no matter how bad you say to yourself, I'm never going to have no man like that or this or that, because you were in that dysfunctional family. Your brain learns it. Your brain learns to pick people like that. Your brain learns to associate with people like that. There are certain words and phrases that attract people in your life, like it was in your dysfunctional family, because that's all you know. I
mhm,
could not understand that until I went to therapy. And I said, that's how come I keep picking people that cheat, people that, treat me wrong, and people that abuse me emotionally. Okay? Because that's all I know. I learned in my family. That's what I saw. I was mad. Okay. And then she told me that I had to grieve that. I was mad again. I'm like, who want to grieve that? They should have known that. Look at the scars they left me. You know, now I got to clean up what they did. I got to break this cycle, you know? And child, I learned so much, but like I said, it started with owning your stuff first, you know. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I start this? She said, you have to start with forgiveness. Forgiveness comes in a lot in therapy. Like, you have to forgive all of that. I had to grieve the fact that, you know, the reason why I had all these men in my life like that is because that's what I learned. I had to grieve that old behavior to let it go. And then I had to come to an understanding and peace with it, you know, and to say, okay, God, I don't want to pick these kind of people no more. So what I'm inviting you in my life to show me what is happiness? What is a good man? You know what I'm saying? What do I need in my life? And what I got from it is that I really don't need. I may want a man, but that don't mean I need a man to make me happy. What I got out of that is I need to make me happy. Okay,
Yep.
can't no man make me happy, and I don't need to choose nobody that's gonna cheat on me and emotionally abuse me and call that happiness. That's not happiness. That's abuse. You know what I'm saying? So I had to grieve all that and let that go and start over fresh. And all of that came with forgiving me, forgiving my parents, and forgiving everybody that's in my life that had abused me. Now I'm not gonna say that that happened overnight. I had to really work on that for years to get that to happen. And then once that really set forward and I accepted it all and forgave myself too, that's when I started looking at different romantic relationships a bit different. That's when I come up with a list of questions. You know what I'm saying? And you really just have to dig deep. If you want to make a change and you want to start doing things different, you got to go back and look to see where you learned stuff from. And they used to make me mad, Marlene, because I didn't ask to learn this, but it's what you learned in your dysfunctional family. If you came from one, because everybody didn't come from a dysfunctional family, but I did.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not always the dysfunctional family, Gio, because sometimes we as an individual, you as an individual are dysfunctional. You can have a great family, but you and yourself, you put yourself down. You don't make the best choices. You listen to things instead of paying attention to red flags and all kinds of things. Like, you know, something isn't good. You know somebody isn't right for you, but you do it anyways. And it's really about learning yourself and asking yourself first, what attracts me to this person? Why do I like them? Are they really who they say they are? Or am I wanting this because I have feelings? And I'll tell you, Gio, that as a woman, you, and also I can say as a man, I'm sure it's the same, that you can't just stay in that space of thinking about how you feel about somebody. It has to also be about them doing the proper actions in order to prove that love for you. And
Yeah.
it's a whole different level. And I feel like a lot of people would save themselves so much pain, aggravation, financial ruin, mental health, if they first ask themselves the questions like, really, when I'm with them, how do I really feel? Do I feel tired after dealing with them? Do they give me a headache? Because sometimes, we're dating somebody and we're in a relationship with somebody, and let's just say it for what it is. You're just with them because you want to have sex, right? Or
Yeah.
you're just with them because you want some money from them, or you're with them because they look good on your arm. It is what it is. We're grown folks over here. We're not little kids. But after a while, Gio, everybody is going to need more than that because looks fade. Anybody can lose all the money that they have, right? So
Yeah.
if things are not going to be the same, the thing about it is, at the end of the day, is that going to be somebody that after the looks fade, after you could lose things, are you going to still have somebody who's going to be loyal, supportive of you, respectful, pour into you, care about you? Or is it just about those surface things? Because sex and money, it's nice, it's good and everything, but that can't be the only things, the foundation of a relationship. You're going to need some more than just sexuality and money. You're
Right.
going to you're going to need somebody who makes you feel like you can be yourself. And yeah, I know I said a lot in, but that's what I.
Yeah, but I understand it. And what you just said is you have to make yourself happy.
Mhm.
The happiness. See, when you're not happy with who you are, or you don't even know what happiness is, you'll pick whatever it is you think it is. Okay?
Mhm.
I learned how to be happy with who I am. I learned how to make myself happy. And when I did that, Marlene, that's when my outlook changed, and I did not need these abusive men in my life, cheaters and emotional abuse. I don't want you. Okay? That was in the past. And so when I run up on somebody and they start talking that noise like that, bing, 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 red flags. That's
Mhm.
because that I have really worked on that part of me that don't want that in my life, and know that I have to make myself happy. That's how you gonna get a good person in your life, because then you gonna have standards. You gonna
Mhm.
say, no, I don't want that. This is what I want. We are all not perfect, but I don't want no man in my life that's not gonna support me. I don't want no man in my life that's gonna tell me I'm not all that and I can't do it. Who want that?
That's you. And
That's what we used to have. Today, baby, you got to come on with it. If you want
right,
G, uh,
right, Gio, because when you come from that space of the things that used to allow when you were younger, that's all a part of a learning experience and growing. We allow certain things, but as you mature and you heal, you need to think about who am I with them? Am I happy really, or is that a service level? Am I doing this to appear to, oh, we're this good looking couple and look at outfits, look at vain things? Or what are they, what kind of change do they bring into my life? Like how a good, fulfilling, healthy relationship will do. Are they saying, what are you doing with your life? And then they'll check you on those things. They'll help you. They'll encourage you. Or they'll just be like, oh, if you get in a relationship and everything is always about them, and they never ask you about you, what can I do? How can I help you? That's something you better run from that person, because that used to be me, Gio. Like I've said before, and I think I'm going to do that on one of my other channels, but I this topic of, I no longer get build a bears. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking up a what you call it, a project. I'm not trying to fix anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody be something else. I'm not trying to change. I have to have somebody who has already put in the work into themselves, and they're man enough to know how to be soft and hard. You
Right.
know what I feel? Like
Right.
I
Yes.
like before, the old me used to be, I want a rough neck and they gotta be rough and they gotta be tough. I don't need that anymore. I have to have somebody who is on my level too, that they have to know when it's time to be hard and to handle business, they'll do that. But also they're not ashamed to say, this is how I'm feeling and cry. I need somebody who is in tune emotionally
Right.
with
With themselves, just like we are in tune with our emotions. That's what we need. I don't want anybody that's still struggling with their emotions and they hate their parents and they don't know how to forgive and uh-uh. Go to therapy, then come back.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to let them take me back to what I used to be. And I don't want that in my life. It's just a turn off for me.
Yeah.
You know, I want somebody that's working on something and not afraid to show their feelings and know how to support themselves as well as support me. That's a good relationship. I had that for 15 years. With the last husband I had, I would have never looked at him if I was way back. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
in that vain state where it
Yeah,
was
if I
just about
Right. I would have never looked at Philip. Never. He wouldn't have been physically, none of it. Until I became who I am today. And it wasn't that the physical part that attracted me to Philip. It was his softness, his encouragement. You know what I'm saying? His thoughtfulness. He listened to me. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't afraid to say some of the things that he needed to say, and he wasn't perfect and I wasn't perfect either. But that was a big, huge start from what I used to have. So I got a chance to experience a good relationship and know what happiness really was with a man and who I was with a man that had a good sense of himself and was very supportive of me as well as me being supportive of him. Yeah, I miss that. My husband passed away, but I really do miss that. And that is what I want and need again. If I can't get it, I'm okay because I want that, but I don't need it, because all I need is me and my friends. You see what I'm trying to say? But if I happen to get that back in my life, I would love it.
yeah.
That's what I've learned.
And I'm so glad that you said that, and always condolences, Gio, because that's a tough one. When you have a good person, you can't go back to a person who is judgmental, controlling, just to have somebody in your life. And I know that there's a lot of people who who are lonely. I'll say that there's a lot of people who are lonely and then they'll just settle because they feel like having a piece of a man or a piece of a woman is better than having none at all. And that's not true. That's not
When you
true.
said that, ooh, a piece of a man. That's ooh. I used to think that.
Oh,
Oh my God, that is today. That sounds so ugly.
yeah. And Jill, I used to say that before. And now that makes me cringe.
Yeah,
Ugh. Like, why would I want a piece?
yeah.
Want a piece of a woman or a piece of a man. If you cannot have somebody that's going to be like clapping for you, when you need encouragement or praying for you or supporting you, being loyal to if they cannot give those things, if it's I no longer want the relationships where I have to have somebody like I got to be their mother. I have to be their nanny, their housekeeper, I'm not willing to do those things anymore. I have to have somebody who is balanced in my life, that they'll think
Right.
about me even when I'm not thinking about me. And the same thing, vice versa. I am that woman now because I've worked on myself, that I know how to be there for my man when he doesn't know how to be there for himself.
Right. Girl, you know what, Marla? I had a guy try to talk to me. And as we were talking, and I was telling him what my hopes and dreams were, you know what this Jack said? He said, "Oh, you think you too high." I
What?
said,
Wait a minute.
that's what he
Who?
said. He said, "Oh, you think you too high." I said, "No, I don't think I'm too high." I said, "I have respect for myself and I love myself. Now you can hit the road, Jack."
Mm,
See, you have to pay attention to what people say. Talking about,
yep.
I think I'm too high. I'm like, why? Because I got hopes and dreams, and this is what I want from you, and you too sorry to give it to me? Back in the
Yeah.
day, I probably would have said, "Oh, okay," but not today. I say, hit the road, Jack. That was a huge, I think I'm too high.
Mm. I already told you, Gio, I do not take up projects and I don't do build a bears.
Thank you. Me neither. No. I don't want no piece of a man. I want the whole thing, and it's good. And he happy with himself. I'm happy with myself. We put that together. We call that a relationship.
Mhm. I can't.
Okay.
I'm not. I can't have somebody in my life that they are going through things and they don't know how to apply tools. Okay, I feel sad today. And then they'll let themselves cry or they'll talk, communicate about it. I don't need somebody, like in the next room up there slamming doors and doing all this and you say hi and then they go off on you. I can't take that energy anymore.
Child, they can hit the door. They do that to me. I'm not.
Yes,
mm, I'm
I can't.
not
I
trying
can't
to do
take somebody anymore that is angry with their lives and has not put in the work and to find out why am I angry and heal that and fix that. Because if you've put in the work into yourself to heal and fix things, I can't handle and be around people who haven't put the same work into themselves. I know when
right.
I sad, I know I'm gonna do one of these things. I'm gonna cry. I'm going to communicate. I'm going to say I need a hug. I'm going to spend time out in nature. I'm going to give back. I know how to go through my list because I got help. But people who have never gotten help and they want to be angry and then they want to ruin your day and snap off on you. Or what you looking at it? What this? I'm going to start an argument with you because that's a transfer of their energy. You got to release that negative energy some way, and I'm not going to be the one to take to take all of your anger issues. You need to work on yourself.
Child, I'm not trying to grow up nobody. If you a boy, you can't hang with Geo. You
Mm-mm.
got to be a real man. I mean, and I know that we, all of us, is not perfect because I'm not either. I'm not expecting a perfect man, but I'm expecting someone who respects me, who loves me for me. Who want to support me, who want to say, "Baby, you can do anything you want to do." Look, and can go to the store and know everything I like and bring it back without me telling them. That's the kind of husband I had. Do
Yeah,
you think I want something less than that? No, you got to be something similar to that and more. unless I'm not doing it.
No, Gio, you know what I call it? I call it a person has to be fully cooked. There's a lot of people who are half baked. They're not fully cooked. They need to go back and do some more cooking. They need to some they need some seasoning, some marinating. It's some people think that it's so cute to be hard and tough all the time. It's not cute. It's not attractive.
No, because when they go home, child, they cry like we do, but they just don't show it out in the deal, and they just want to stay. I don't understand, why do you want to stay in sadness? I guess I do understand because it's so hard to face that pain, but now that I've gotten past that, I be like, why can't you just work on yourself? Why you have to tell me I'm crazy? And I know I'm not crazy as you. Why can't people just do what we did and just say, I'm tired? I don't want to be this way no more. God, help me, break me, do something. I need help. Why can't people do that? Then they want to come to people like me and you with that bull, and as soon as we say something about it, oh, they gonna gaslight you. Like it's your fault. Oh, you too high. I'd rather be by myself,
Yeah,
Marley.
yeah, you think you're all that because
Yeah,
you have.
I'd rather
Mhm.
be by myself and just be happy like I am today. Cause child, I don't have time for all of that. My daughter told me once before, she has been to therapy herself because I made her go at first, and then she just went on her own. And then she was what, 16? She said, Mama, I think because we didn't been to therapy and we know how to set boundaries, I think that we're not gonna really find somebody that understands us and what we've been through. She said, because I don't really have time to grow up no man no more. And I said, yes, it's kind of hard because we already know what our red flags are, and we're not going to accept just no anybody in our lives. And she said that she's willing to work with someone that want to make all of those changes. And I say, well, yeah, I can see that as long as they're not too broken.
Yeah.
They too broken. You got to go. I'm not trying to grow nobody. I'm too old anyway. I ain't trying to grow you up. But if you broken a little bit and you willing to go to couples therapy or whatever we need to make this relationship work, I'll do that, Marlene.
See, Gio.
That's what my daughter is doing with her husband, and they are really doing well.
Well,
He loved her so much that he went.
that's what I'm talking about is that nobody is perfect, but if you have a good relationship, if you have a good person and they really care about you, they'll be willing to compromise. And I think that is what a relationship romantically is all about, compromising. Not all the
Right.
time, but there has to be moments where if you know that something that you do boils the person that you love, if you know that it boils their blood, why do you keep doing it? It can't just be like, oh, oh, that's what you want and I don't care. I can't deal with people who always say, I don't care, or you're too sensitive, or you're that. No, you are selfish. I cannot deal with people who only think about themselves only. You gotta have
Yeah.
somebody who will just be like, I gotta go. They know when they need to walk away because they said, I know if I stay here any longer, I'm gonna say something that's gonna annoy you. You gotta have somebody who knows how to be in control of themselves
Right.
and
I
not
mean,
just say
it's
sorry later.
right. You just have to find a person you can gel with, even if they are a bit broken and they willing to compromise and say, "Well, okay, I'll go to." Even if you mention couples therapy, just to make out, if they have to love you enough to and kind of love themselves enough to really want the relationship. Sometimes people can get involved with people that really love themselves like you and I, and then they find their way. You understand what I'm saying, Marlene? And they'll say, "Oh, if it had not have been for you, I would have never done this." They just make this change like my husband did. Okay. And it was because I wasn't taking no noise. Okay. And sometimes that works too, but it's if they are a good person and you are willing to work with them.
See,
But
see, and
they gotta be halfway. I mean, they gotta have good sense, and they got to admit the truth.
yeah, see, Gio, that's what I can't take is that you, like my mom said, and my parents were married for 52 years, and my mom always said that, and I'm to the space where I'm believing the same thing. You have to have somebody who their goal is for them to think about you and making you happy, and then vice versa. Your goal is to be making them happy. And if you have that sort of relationship where you're always thinking about the other person in a loving way, not controlling, not a manipulative, but giving them the permission to be soft when they need softness, to be hard when they need to be, shaken out of something, an idea or a thought or something like that. You have to have that sort of balance in a relationship. You can't have somebody who is too soft, and you can't have somebody who is too hard. You got to have somebody who knows how to do both.
Right. They have to be balanced, you
Hmm.
know. And that's one of the things I like about when I come over here on Life with Marlene or Marlene Motivate or any of your channels. When we talk about real stuff, it really helped me to stay grounded. you
Hmm.
know it helps me to know that I've grown a lot. So these things that Marlene and I talk about is it's just not just for you guys and whoever needs it. It is for us too. It is
Yeah.
for us to be better people, uh, to treat people like we really want to be treated, to say out loud what we went through and how much better we are. All of these talks that we do is just not to show off. I mean, it's the truth. And even though, sometimes I say to myself, maybe I tell too much. No, I don't. I tell what I need to say on here so that I can be Geo and love myself. And so that I know if I owe somebody an apology or what have you. I need these talks, Marlene, so that I can stay grounded in my recovery.
Yeah.
So
There,
that's
there.
one of the reasons that I do this with Marlene is
Yeah.
because
Go
I
ahead,
stay
Gail.
grounded.
Hmm.
So it ain't like we on here just talking noise just to be talking. And now we really want to help people.
Yep.
And
You
I
want to
hope
help.
y'all got something out of this.
You want to help people, and you want to keep yourself, like, you should be actually asking yourself, am I on track with my life? Am I
Right.
doing what I need to do? Am I taking care of myself in the best way possible? Have I given up? You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good shirt, Delvin. Mature up. And it's a lot of people, like I've said it so many times before on many streams, is that it's a big difference from being an adult and being mature. You can be an adult, but that does not make you mature. It doesn't mean Maturity means knowing something isn't good, isn't helping, isn't healing you, and having enough commitment and courage to say, I don't deserve that, and letting yourself move from that space, that person, and those thoughts, and doing different for yourself. And it's not the easiest thing, but it's important. So this has been a great topic, Gio. And I gotta say thank you so much for coming on.
Okay. Let me hold on for. Go ahead, Marlene. I'm on a mute. Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted to say to everybody who has been here from the beginning to give yourself that permission to make changes in your life. Whatever it is that you want to change or heal, you can do it. Whether it's taking better care of your health, taking better care of how you treat yourself, what you say to yourself, what you allow, and standing on that. And balance is necessary, forgiveness is necessary, maturity is necessary, and having supportive people that will help hold you accountable and will say what they need to say, like, you need to be sleeping more or eating healthier, or when's the last time you exercised or saw your doctor. There's some uncomfortable questions that happen when you're mature. It's not just being like a kid and saying, I don't want to do it, and then you don't do it, or you don't like something. There's a lot of times in life where we do things that we don't want to do because there's bills to be paid. And the same thing should be applied to any relationships that you have. If they are not helping and healing and growing you, you need to be mature enough to leave those people alone. So, um, I think that's one of the reasons why I love doing these topics and having these streams is because I learn things about myself every time I have these discussions. I reaffirm, I reinforce, I heal, and I know that I encourage somebody, even if it's for a little while, to do some thinking about their life and what
Good.
they're doing and how they treat themselves. So I got to thank you so much for always coming through and supporting these conversations because they really do matter.
Yes, they do, Marlene, and I want to thank you too because, like you said, we learn things. We just because we have been to therapy and we're better, that we have to continue this road. We have to continue down this journey, learning new things about ourselves and being this and that and being proud. This is why I love to come on your YouTube channels. And this is why I love you, because you are a precious child of God. And we really can talk with ease and truth. And you help me stay in recovery. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Gio. And I love you more for not only for your friendship, but also for being a mentor, for keeping me balanced and focused, and also the times where I needed to get a kick in the butt, like Marlene, what you did. I thank you for that, and that keeps me not only healthy, it keeps me happy, it keeps me balanced, and getting me to say, you know what, I need to do this, or even sometimes where I'm doing too much, that where I need to chill, because sometimes we do the most.
Yeah, we do. Okay, Marlene, I'm going to go ahead and go because my family is calling me and I need to go. But
Oh no, I
thank you,
understand.
everybody, for being here. And I'll be back another time. Bye bye, Marlene.
Bye. So thank you everybody so much for being here for this marathon. I hope that you have enjoyed something in this marathon. Some notes. I hope you laughed a little or whatever it was. And thank you so much to everybody who came through. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to the channel members. Everybody. I do these marathons not just for watch time, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I do need watch time. But at the same time, I have these conversations because there are some things that I'm working on as a woman, and there's some things that maybe you're working on as a woman or as a man, and maybe it's something for you to think about and to get into the action of making applications. So shout out to Gio. Thank you so much for your support as always, Gio, and everybody who came through. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, to hit the like. Shout out to every single one of you, all of my gems. I treasure each one of you. Treasure yourself, mature up, heal, and make a commitment to being your best self. I'm Life with Marlene, your Florida vlogger. And you know what we say over here: love your life and live your life. Bye bye, guys. See you guys on the next one.